Islam is a collection of teachings and practices that were common in Arabia. Muhammad heard the stories, and now they're in the Quran. In Surah 18, Allah tells us that Dhul Qarnayn, the Arabic name for Alexander the Great, traveled so far west, he found the place where the sun sets. This was a popular story during Muhammad's lifetime. Muhammad heard it, now it's in the Quran. Muhammad had grown up among pagans who prayed facing the Kaaba and all its idols. But how could Muhammad justify praying towards a pagan shrine? Well, just a few verses earlier, in Surah 2, verse 127, Allah declared that the Kaaba was built by Abraham and Ishmael. But what evidence do we have that the Kaaba was built by Abraham and Ishmael? Absolutely none, apart from the fact that Muhammad said it. Muhammad had absolutely no clue what he was talking about, and I can prove it. Sahih al-Bukhari, 3366. Narrated Abu Dhar, I said, O Allah's Messenger, which mosque was first built on the surface of the earth? He said, Al-Masjid al-Haram at Mecca. I said, which was built next? He replied, Al-Masjid al-Aqsa at Jerusalem. I said, what was the period of construction between the two? He said, 40 years. According to Muhammad, there was a 40-year gap between the construction of the Kaaba and the temple in Jerusalem. Well, we know when the Jerusalem temple was built. Solomon built it in the 10th century BC. That's more than 1,000 years after Abraham. If Abraham built the Kaaba, he built it more than 1,000 years before Solomon built the Jerusalem temple. But Muhammad said that they were built 40 years apart. So we need to ask our Muslim friends, where did Abraham and Ishmael get their time machine? Muhammad was wrong, and we can't trust what he says about the construction of the Kaaba. The only evidence we have tells us that Muslims are bowing down to a pagan temple and taking a pilgrimage to a pagan temple and walking circles around a pagan temple. Why did the pagans of Mecca circle the Kaaba 7 times? To honor and worship the 7 planetary deities that they believed were circling the earth. And now this thoroughly pagan practice is one of the 5 pillars of Islam. When they visit the Kaaba, Muslims do their best to kiss the black stone. Interestingly, even Muhammad's companions understood that kissing the black stone was idolatry, but they kept doing it anyway because Muhammad had done it. In Sahih al-Bukhari, 1597, we read, narrated Abbas bin Rabi'ah, Umar came near the black stone and kissed it and said, no doubt I know that you are a stone and can neither harm anyone nor benefit anyone. Had I not seen Allah's messenger kissing you, I would not have kissed you. The early Muslims understood that this was a pagan practice. They stopped doing it when they became Muslims. But Muhammad liked it, so it ended up in the Quran. How much paganism can you fit into one religion? It's amazing that Muslims, who are swimming in a sea of pagan practices, are deluded enough to think that they're the true champions of monotheism. They're doing everything the pagans did. They just rename it monotheism.